Hello friends. For last few days I'm studying the events of first Easter where Jesus was raised from the dead. And particularly I was reading the Gospel of John chapter 20. It is a very interesting event where Peter and John, when they heard that the Jesus tomb is empty, they both ran to the tomb. And John ran faster than Peter, and then he reached to this tomb and he saw that it is empty. And the word particularly used here, what he saw for his seeing, is the Greek word used called a blepo. In John 20, verse 4 and 5 says that, so they both ran together, and the other disciple outran Peter and came to the tomb first. And he, stooping down and looking in, saw the linen cloth lying there, yet he did not go in. So the word saw here, blepo, Greek word, means he just saw it. We saw so many things. We saw cars, trees, skies. When we walk in our own home, we saw everything. Our eyes are open and we see things, but we did not pay much attention. That is the word, Greek word used here. He just saw it. He did not pay attention. And this resurrection event for so many people is like that. They have heard about it, they read about it, they saw a movie, um, they heard text messages from friends, Happy Easter, but nothing beyond that. Now, Peter came second to the tomb, but he goes inside. And for him, it is written here in John 20, verse 7 and 6 and 7. Then Simon Peter came following him and went into the tomb, and he saw the linen clothes lying there, and 7 and the handkerchief that had been around his head, not lying with the linen clothes, but folded together in place by itself. So Peter goes inside the tomb, and he is also saying what is that tomb is empty. But the Greek word used here, saw, is or Hebrew word used here called theorio, from which we got the word called theory. That is reasoning. So he's reasoning. He's looking not just like for the sake of looking. He started thinking, who folded this handkerchief? How Jesus got out of this tomb? What has happened here? He is trying to understand what has just happened. And so many people are trying to understand that is the resurrection story is true. What it has to do with me. It has any meaning for my own life. Now, then verse 8 says that then the other disciple who came to the tomb first went in also, and he saw and believed. Now the John who was standing outside, he went inside. Now he saw and believed. Now this is the third time saw is used, and the Hebrew word is called ido. Ido means seeing and believing. So it is not like whatever he's seeing, that just the tomb is empty. That means Jesus is alive. He is raised from the dead. He believed with his heart. And so that he represents so many people, like they don't take this story literally. They try to investigate it, and when they understood what has just happened, they believed in the story. Bible doesn't say in the Gospel of John whether Peter believed. He tried to understand what has happened, but he did not believe, while John believed. Now, if you turn to the Paul's letter to Corinthians, first letter, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, it talks about how Jesus appeared to his disciples. first he says that he appeared to Mary, and then Paul writes that he appeared to Cephas, that is Peter's other name, Peter, and then 12 disciples, and then 500 people more. Well, in Gospel, we don't find that Jesus appeared to Peter, but in Paul's writing, we see that Jesus appeared to Peter. So we see now that the Peter went to the tomb. He tried to understand. His reasoning, what has happened, he has not believed yet. And then what happened in John 21, very next day, Peter goes to fishing. He said, I'm going for the fishing. Do you guys want to come? And the other disciple also went with Peter. Now, when Jesus called Peter, we know that he dropped everything. He dropped his nets and he followed Jesus. So where this net came from? I think that he went to the tomb. He tried to understand. And then Jesus even appeared to him, but still he's not convinced. We talk all the time about Thomas, doubting Thomas. But Bible doesn't say that Jesus appeared to Peter and he still believed, because very next day he went for fishing. He had his plan B always in place, that okay, Jesus is dead, Jesus is risen, maybe, may not be. What is it? I am going back to my original lifestyle. And so many people are like that too, that they have encountered God in a very profound way. They have seen the evidence that God is real, and still they are hesitant to give their life to Jesus. Well, when we are born in this earth, we did not have a choice, but Jesus had a choice. He knew exactly what he's getting into. He chose to be born as a human baby. He chose to be betrayed. He chose the whips on his back. He chose the thorn on his head. He chose the nails in his hand. He chose to be pierced on his side. He chose the painful death on a cross. Why? Why he chose that? Because he loves you and me so much that he wanted to make sure that your and my sins are forgiven and we have eternal life. So, John and Peter both went to the tomb. John came back believing in Jesus at that moment. But at that moment, Peter had a doubt. Peter did not completely believe. And later on, he believed and he started serving God. Maybe God work in your heart that you will give your life to Jesus. Thank you.